The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Jess De Los Santos. PNR operations remain suspended as many of its staff tested positive for COVID-19. Operations of other railway lines in the metro, meanwhile, remain limited to make way for mass testing of trained personnel. Now let's get more details from Gerard de la Peña. He's reporting live from Mandaluyong. Gerard, how many trained personnel have been infected so far, particularly over the PNR?
Right now, Jess, we have about 91 positive COVID-19 positive personnel at the PNR, while at the MRT3 we still have 107 active cases. At the LRT Line 1, we have 94 active cases, while at the LRT Line 2, there are still about 136 positive cases. So right now, the DOTR is undergoing mass testing among employees of the various train lines so as to segregate the healthy ones from the infected individuals.
Okay, given that, Gerard, how many train units will be dispatched today at the LRT Lines 1 and 2, and how about the MRT3 as well?
Well, Jess, for today, the LRT Line 1 has 17 train sets, while the LRT 2 has 5. These are also the normal number of train sets that they deploy during normal times or even before ECQ. The MRT3 will just have 10 to 12 trains starting today compared to 18 to 20, and the PNR will have just 9 to 10 train sets compared to 12 when they resume operations on Friday.
Okay.
Yes.
Since you mentioned that you normally, at least for those from LRT Lines 1 and 2, that's the normal number of trains that they are dispatching. How about for the MRT and the PNR? When are we expecting these lines to resume normal operations?
Well, we don't have word yet from the DOTR as to when the PNR and the MRT3 will back to normal operations. But what they can assure right now is that they are conducting this mass testing so as to assure everyone that no passenger will get infected once they resume. They go back to normal operations.
And of course, one other thing that commuters are keen to know about, will there be changes in allowed capacity and operating hours?
In terms of operating hours, we were told by the DOTR officials that operating hours will be the same. But in terms of capacity, passengers can expect that there will be just about around 30% capacity inside the trains as of this time, while we are still under ECQ. Yes.
Okay. Now, are there other safety measures for the second week of ECQ, considering the number of infections among trained personnel?
Well, they don't have other additional safety measures that being implemented right now at the train lines, but officials said that they are strict in enforcing the 7 commandments that they have been espousing. Among these, the mandatory wearing of face masks and face shields and cleansing of hands, among other measures. Yes.
All right, observance of minimum health protocols still has to be followed when riding, of course, our rail lines. Thank you very much for those updates. Gerard de la Peña reporting live from Mandaluyong. Now, for many businesses, an extended ECQ means fewer customers, deeper profit losses, and debt piling up even higher. Their appeal to the government: shorten curfew hours so they can at least keep their shops open longer. Lynn Olivario has the report.
Irene Bacusmo felt the brunt of the enhanced community quarantine in her business, especially in her small sari-sari and bakery store in Pasig City. Because of the 6 p.m. curfew, she has no choice but to close shop around sundown. Because of this, she incurs 6,000 pesos in daily losses, even if her goods are considered essential.
Sayang din yung mga 6,000 sa isang araw na nababawas.
Irene's business suffered the same fate when the first ECQ started last year and somehow recovered when NCR shifted to GCQ. To compensate, she added seasonal goods like halo-halo to ramp up the demand. Meanwhile, Rosario de la Cruz drastically cut her variety store's operating hours by 6 hours from her usual midnight closing. This is equivalent to half of her day's revenue. And unfortunately, she will still suffer as the NCR bubble is now under extended ECQ.
Siyempre, dati mahabang oras, di ba? Mas mahaba yung oras, mas maraming bumibili.
Even this eatery in Barangay San Antonio, Pasig had to cut its business hours. The ECQ is a double whammy for owner Josephine Decatoria since most of her patrons are office workers.
Kahit yung mga call center ngayon, konti na lang. Tapos sa umaga lang kami nakaano kasi minsan pagdating ng wala na.
As a result, Josephine added fresh vegetables to her store, but she admits that this can't offset her past earning in order to keep up with the utilities like rent.
Pagtyagaan na lang po kasi wala naman kami ibang pinagkakaabalahan kundi ganito lang. Pero mas okay din po kasi kumpara sa kung maraming din naman ng tao kung magkaganyan, hawa-hawa lang din.
They understand the purpose of extending the ECQ to curb current spread of COVID-19. But they appeal to the IATF for amendments to move the start of curfew to 8 p.m. in order for them to break even at the very least.
Sana naman kahit MECQ na lang, hindi naman na yung sobrang haba, di ba ang aga ng curfew? Kahit hanggang 8 naman sana, para kahit papano makabawi naman na kami.
Pwede sigurong dagdagan ng 2 oras para yung, halimbawa, merong empleyadong gusto pang bumili, makakabili. Merong mabibilan.
For News 5, Lynn Olivario, We Are One News.
The barangay officials involved in the controversial Lugaw incident have publicly apologized, but their barangay chairman insists these officers will still be sanctioned. Romel Lopez with the details.
The Lugaw saga continued during the Holy Week break. Over the weekend, officials of Barangay Muson in San Jose del Monte, Bulacan, including its chairman, Mariano Gatchalian, took responsibility for the infamous incident. The barangay officials faced public outrage after some of its tanods accused a delivery man in a certain Lugaw store of violating health protocols for continuing operation during the curfew hours. One barangay tanod even claimed porridge or lugaw is non-essential, despite IATF guidelines clearly stating that food deliveries are deemed essential under the ECQ. The deliveryman Marvin Ignacio documented the ordeal and cried for help on social media for the supposed harassment. The video has since gone viral and even reached the Malacanang, prompting Palace spokesman Harry Roque to clear the air and declare lugaw essential. The tanod involved in the viral video, Pes Raimundo, has also released a public apology. Raimundo apologized to the deliveryman.
Hindi ko po gusto na ma-offend kayo. Yun po ay hindi intentional. Dahil po late na po ng madaling araw yon, napagod din po siguro ako.
Speaking to News 5, Raimundo admitted that the backlash from the social media made her feel disturbed and uneasy. Raimundo said she even received some death threats.
Siyempre, hindi po okay. Ngayon, siyempre, nasaktan dahil may death threat ako eh. Papatayin ako ng netizen. Yung emotional distress ko siya. Yung moral ko.
Barangay Captain Gatchalian said Raimundo will face suspension due to the incident.
Yun man pong mga nagkamali, ay bibigyan ko po ng disciplinary action. Dahil paulit-ulit ko po kasing sinasabi sa kanila na bawal lang magtaas ng boses, kailangan laging mapagkumbaba, laging low profile, mahinahon sa pagpapaliwanag, laging may maximum tolerance.
However, Gatchalian also noted that the tanod may have only confused IATF guidelines with the local ordinance concerning food establishments that operate beyond 6 p.m.
Lahat ng mga maliliit na kainan, kasama niyang lugaw, gotohan, tapsi-tapsi na yan. Mula alas 5 lang po ng umaga hanggang alas 6 ng hapon, sila ina-allowed na magbukas. Ganun po, kaya nagkaroon kami ng problema sa pagpapaliwanag sa mga tao dahil sasabihin ng katulad ng Lugaw, Pilipinas, meron daw silang permit ng IATF. O kaya nga po, nahihirapan po kaming manimbang.
The backlash, however, did not end on social media. Two vloggers from Caloocan decided to poke fun at the incident by bringing porridge to the Muson Barangay Hall. With a note reminding officials that lugaw is essential, they also include the words, happy eating. The move did not sit well with barangay officials.
Lumalagay po parang pang-insulto Tungkol nga po doon sa lugaw na gusto nilang i-emphasize na ang lugaw ay essential na pagkain o produkto. Ganon. Ang mahirap po kasi doon, habang iniaabot nila po doon sa mga bantay bayan, binibidyo po nila. At ayun nga ho, magmula pa pala doon sa niluluto nila yung lugaw doon sa Bago Silang, binibidyo na nila. So talagang pinlano nila.
The vloggers are now facing charges for unjust fixation. For News 5, Romel Lopez. We are One News.
And in sports, Jaja Santiago has been offered naturalization in Japan following her recent title run with the Saitama Ageo Medics in the Japan V Cup. The former NU star revealed the news on Saturday as her pending free agency looms. If the middle blocker accepts the offer, it would change her qualification in the league from reinforcement to local. The Cavite native admits that the offer is tempting given the caliber of volleyball talent in Japan. But Santiago says she's hesitant to say yes since a part of her wants to continue representing the Philippines. Yet the national team stalwart says she's not entirely closing her doors to the idea, especially since she also dreams of playing in the Olympics. Note that Japan's national volleyball team has played in the Olympics twice in the past 4 editions of the event. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 1 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Jess De Los Santos. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.